the bumper sticker. Really important for branding, for marketing, because it's actually the blink reflex that you're working with. You know, most people, if they don't know you from anything else, will actually make a judgment really fast and probably emotionally on the colour, the shape, the few words that you use, those 4 words, you know, can be really critical. We've done a little bit of this already when we're talking about customers. You know, one way to actually ask yourself what branding is appropriate for my product is to define who that customer is. And I don't need to rave at you anymore out there, because until you know who the customer is, you don't know what the value they see in the brand, in the product is. And until you have that value proposition, you don't have a business, in my view. So you can actually think about customers and changes in your demographic this way. So are they getting older or younger? How old are they right now? Do they belong to different kinds of households? So an increasing number of Australians are living by themselves. Something like 60% or something of Australians live solo, not with other members of their family or whatever. Yeah, and it's increasing. So the number of people living their whole life solo. Geographic shifts, so the shifts in population, shift in education in your marketplace, white-collar workers and service workers, the actual earning power of your demographic. There is a certain point where price is not an issue for people. Is that your price point? And ethnic diversity. This is a very multi-ethnic country. So you can't necessarily assume that everybody speaks English as their first language. It may be that graphics are more important in your marketplace than a lot of text, for example. There might be cultural or religious sensitivities about showing flesh or something, I don't know. You know, are there changes with these groups? And people make jokes just for fun, acronyms for these different groups, you know. So double income no kids is a classic, sort of the young professionals. Skippies, mobies, jukes, dual earners with kids, typically not a big market for fashion, I think. Yuppies, puppies, woofs and silks. You can keep going on. You know. We're Tony's, too old to be yuppies. And this is all about finding your Shirley. Who's your Shirley? You know? Does Shirley understand your message? Okay. Seth Godin, this guy, if you haven't read him, he's got a lot of free stuff. He claims he didn't originate the term, but it was very early on. The term viral marketing. One of the very first books, Unleashing the Idea Virus by Seth Godin. And he proved his point in the book itself. You can still get it for nothing. If you go to his website, you can actually, you've got to click a bit further than you used to have to get it, but you can download it as a PDF. He used the book itself as a way of promoting this idea of the idea virus. An idea virus is an idea that you catch, and then you think it's so wonderful, you go and sneeze it on other people. You infect other people. In fact, he says we should focus on, in our marketing, first of all, on sneezes. People who are going to sneeze, you know. Who is it that's going to consume your product and is connected to all these other people, you know? So this is the person that's involved in the clubs, is involved in the networks, is involved in the school, you know, and etc. See, he or she is really well connected. That's a good person to cultivate. Because if you've got some word of mouth coming out of that person, that is golden. You don't have to pay a cent for it. You need to cultivate that person. You know, Christmas hampers or a birthday card or something like that. Remember, your second, third and fourth sales are where you make your money. So Godin, and this is before, it's quite common for people to do this now, it's sort of 5 years ago, it was quite unusual, made this book available for free download on the internet. Why would he do that? Because he's trying to build his brand, and people love a gift, you know. So there's a question for you. Are there small, relatively cheap things that you can make and give away? Yeah. And what's the message on the back of the gift? You know, sometimes the gift can be a bit of information, you know. This is a really good way to wash this kind of fabric or whatever. People appreciate that as well, and that can be part of a marketing message through a blog, through Twitter, through some kind of social media or whatever. Best way to wash flannelette or something. So you can still actually download this. The interesting thing, and the ironic thing, is that this then became an Amazon bestseller as a paper book, because you can download the PDF, you can download 120 pages of A4, but I don't know if you've ever tried to take 120 pages of A4 to the beach or read in the bath, So it actually created so much interest in the book that people wanted to buy the paperback version on the back of it, And there's a lot of marketing since then. If you follow the 9 Inch Nails, they're very clever with rock music and using the web to market rock music to get over this piracy issue that bands have so often, by embracing the medium rather than trying to compete with it. Sneezes, by the way, hang out in hives. Forgot them. So not only who are my sneezers, but where are the hives? Where are the places where my sneezers gather? Because that may well be a place for you to locate your marketing message, your collateral, your poster, your postcards, your prize for the raffle, your prize for the kids' award at the end of the term, whatever it is, Sneezers hang out in hives. So you locate your message and you formulate a message so it's attractive to the sneezer, and you locate it in the hive. And that can be a virtual place, that can be an online meeting place, that can be a Facebook page, that can be, it doesn't have to be a physical place. Okay, so here's one of his books. Like, I'm a classic sneezer, Gordon really should be paying me a commission. Here I am. And I reckon one of you will buy one of his books on the back of what I just said. I reckon, So the bug is getting, free advertisements in Australia because of the quality of his idea, because I find this so compelling that I'm sneezing it on you, So the purple cow is, again, an interesting way to think about your business. Remember the second page of the value proposition starts with, the second sentence starts with, unlike such and such, my product is this. This is what the purple cow phenomenon is about. So you're driving along a Sunday afternoon, pretty day, Maloney, hinterland, black and white cows studded across the beautiful lush green cow pasture, and you pass a cow, then you pass a cow, then you pass a purple cow. You screech to a stop. Purple cow, what's happened? The purple cow has made you stop because the purple cow is remarkable. And there's two things to say about remarkability. The first is that you can remark it from its neighbours. So you're going on cow, 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 not cow. Exactly. And you stop. It's also remarkable because over dinner that night, you'll probably remark on it to other people. You never believed that. Trying along the way next, this purple cow, So Godwin talks about some products that actually make a point of this. He talks about a soy milk manufacturer in the States that don't need to refrigerate soy milk, right? It goes usually where the long life milk goes in the supermarket. But they convinced the supermarket chain to put their product near the milk in the dairy case in the refrigerated part. Because they were after this result. Milk, 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 not milk. So what is it that is about that your product has that will make somebody do that? Frock, 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 not the normal frock. What is it? Is it a cut? Is it the way that it hangs on a hanger? Is it where you locate it in the store? Is it how the bottom of it hangs relative to its neighbours or whatever? How are you going to make that product stand out? What is it about your image, your brand, that potentially turns it into a purple cow that's remarkable? You'll never believe that yesterday. I saw this outfit, that blah, What's the blah part? We'll say quality. Well, yes, but how do you make that obvious? How do you make the cut and the finish and the sewing or whatever it is, the workmanship in the piece, obvious to us? And I think that's why Madlab spent so much time on what do they call it? Their tags were works of art. Back in the day, it's not the case anymore. But you actually got, their shirt was the one that clanked almost because it had all this collateral hanging off it, all this branding hanging off it. So you want to put a lot of effort into your actual label, you know, the physical label, to make it stand out. So the label gets associated with quality or whatever your buzzword is. So I want to talk about love marks. I've come across the term. It was coined originally by one of the Saatchi partners, the Saatchi dynasty, and there's a book that you can buy called Love Marks, which is about this phenomenon. A love mark is a brand with which you have a relationship. So unlike a trademark, a love mark is a brand that tells you something about yourself. One of the phrases about marketing that I've come across is that marketing fills the narrative gaps in our lives. If I see my life as a movie called Michael, starring Michael, directed by Michael, written by Michael, and etc., then that movie makes a certain kind of sense for me in my head. I've got a picture of what the lifeline of this character called Michael is, you know. And sometimes there's gaps, little bits that are missing. You know, I don't think that I have enough hair, you know, or something. There's a narrative gap. I see myself as this guy with lots of hair, and I just don't have it. So if a product comes along and helps me see myself with more hair, I'm going to respond to that, you know, because it fills that little narrative gap, that little need that I have, that little gnawing sort of requirement. So is this stuff safe? Are your swimming costumes safe for children? Or does your costume help me go faster? You know, or I don't know. That sort of thing.
They took it off the list.
Yeah, no. So love marks need love and respect. This function. So this is low love, high love, low respect, high respect. You need both. The love part is the important part. I've already mentioned for the initial grab. This goes to the colour, the font, the shape, the formulation of words. You know, you want people to fall in love with your brand, and that is initially like falling in love generally. Like you fall in love with a person, you don't sit there with a calculator, right, and work out the odds or whatever. It sort of happens to you. It happens immediately. How you maintain that relationship, though, goes to respect. So you've got the emotional component, which is the initial component. You want people to fall in love with your brand, but then you've got to deliver on that. You can't help it. People won't stay in love with you unless you continue to deliver on the promise, and etc. So we've got some products. This is where you want to be. You want people to love you and to respect you. This is a phrase or phrases that come up in marketing all the time. High touch and high concept. This is for the love and respect part. High touch is, and touch is used quite a lot in marketing. If you can actually, the people say, have you touched your customer today? Touch is something, to touch somebody physically means that they've allowed you into their personal space. They've allowed you to connect intimately with them, you know. For that to happen, they have to trust you, like you, all the things, you know, the sort of person that you will allow to physically touch you, you know. You have to have quite a lot of confidence in them, right? So high-touch products are products that become personalised and intimate and real very quickly. High-concept products are products that stimulate my imagination, that take me somewhere else, that take me to a better place, you know, that do something for me, press my buttons somehow.
Like Apple.
Like Apple. Apple's a classic love mark, you know. If you ask an Apple person, the same way as I asked you which brands you were responding to, which logos you were responding to before, if you ask an Apple, is there an Apple mark in the house? Like an Apple, like everything Apple. And why?
Well, it suits my personality.
Excellent. That's actually a great answer. You're ready for that, I think.
No.
Oh, really?
No, I stand by that.
Good on you.
I hate Microsoft.
Better.
It doesn't work with
Even
me.
better. Apple, very often, this one didn't, but very often Apple freaks will tell you, I like Apple because it doesn't get as many viruses, or because it's got 16,500,000 colors. Exactly. The real answer is usually, I like Apple because I'm an Apple kind of gal, which is the answer you gave me, you know. Apple says something about who I am. It fills a narrative gap in my life, you know. That's the gap where I need to feel cool, you know. Apple know this. This is why they advertise, you know. When Macintosh was first released, there was an ad with two guys standing side by side, and one's in this sort of grey gabardine suit, like this, and the other one's this hipster with the shoulder bag, little goatee, and the line is, "Who is the Apple user?" You know. The obvious answer is obvious, right? And this is why Apple's selling to schools so much. They want their brand associated with positive, youthful, hip sort of imagery, you know. It's why, incidentally, the junk food brands will market to kids so hard too. So that even when you grow up...
I think if they target children, because if you haven't used Apple from a young age, it's...
You invest in the future generations.
Yeah.
So just get used to that as a kid. You'll
See, I started with Microsoft now, I find it like,
Really
I
hard
find
to
it really hard to shift because everything is backwards and not that type of thinker.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they would target.
Bankers will do that too. But there's also an association of pleasure, you know. So Apple do it less now, but they used to be really involved in sort of art programs and music programs, so that you associate it with being inventive, creative, positive, very early on. And the junk food brands, which usually are put here, depending, either here or here, have got a lot of love associated with them because even though you know it's shit now, when you're a kid, it was when all the family was together and you were playing on those jumping things, and you know, you associate it, so it becomes kind of comfort food, even though you know it's crap. So there's a lot of love but no respect. Or no love and no respect, you know, depending on how you grew up. What sort of products would you put here? Low love, high respect. There's no emotional component, there's just a rational consumption. That's why you buy that product. What kind of brand?
Cars.
Yeah. Japanese cars. You know? I don't particularly care what brand I drive, just so long as it doesn't break down and it gets me there, it doesn't burn too much petrol. Other people, no, cars are over here. You know, because of Merc, Rolls-Royce, you know, and again, we touched on that before. When you're buying a Merc or a Rolls-Royce, you're buying the sense of being in an
I
armchair.
think computers, like, low and high respect.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
Probably the necessary product that we need in the day-to-day life.
That's right.
But we just use it as users.
That's right. And we might be able to pay, we might be ready to pay for that if we're sure that's going to deliver, you know. Down here, low love, low respect, what sorts of products are they? Talked about junk food already. Things we buy on the price, typically, like toilet paper. I mean, I'll buy a different brand every week. I might respond to a message like recycled or something, but otherwise, you know, I'm really probably buying it on price. Dishwashers? Did you say?
cloths and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff around
Yeah.
everyday home
Yeah.
stuff.
Not a worry for us usually. In our business, these are people we've been competing with on price, and usually we don't compete on price, we're competing on quality. High love, low respect. I talked about junk food when you associate it with pleasant childhood memories. Yo-yos. Did you ever have yo-yos? The Coca-Cola company do yo-yos in school? Enormous fad because the company put a huge amount of that advertising into it. The minute the advertising dries up, the whole thing drops. Yeah, it's just concentrated. That's the point of the exercise. There's no respect.
And we probably apps, games.
Yeah, some of them.
I was thinking of the brands, probably televisions comes through the going to the high respect and low love, because they don't care what brand it is as long as it's the biggest.
Yes.
So the respect the fact that they've got the biggest television.
Yes.
Yeah,
So, creative love marks is about the ability to understand consumers' dreams. To know what they want, when they want it, create experiences that make your brand part of their lives. I didn't ask you at the beginning, but let me ask you now, do you have a love mark with Apple? Does anybody else have love marks? This brand you were talking about, the swimwear brand? The Sea Folly is a love mark. Yeah. Because people love it, and they also pay off with respect. Other love marks that you have for real? I mean, think of what you're wearing now. Think of what you're
I have a
actually
lot
carrying
of
into
love
the
marks.
room.
I have a lot of love marks.
Okay. Are they all fashion brands?
Oh yeah, fashion, shoes, yeah, cosmetics, I've got to
What's the marketing message? Can you think of the marketing message they use?
All I can see is my red MAC lipstick that I just love to death. I wear it all the time.
And when you lose it, it's like,
Or when you see your 3-year-old pick it up and start to put it on their face, and don't touch it.
no.
Okay, so I was jotting down the love marks, and it says to understand consumer genes and to know what they want
Yeah.
and their experience, blah, blah, blah. And then I realised that my marketing message was, we want to feature in your life story, which is pretty much that.
Yep. Cool. So there's a clue there about being on the right path. That's where you start.
Yeah.
Consumers make decisions based purely on facts, tiny minority of the population. Even when they buy some products or services based on, when they think they're buying something rationally, there's still a movement that's emotional. So it's a creative game of marketing. It's about identifying with people's dreams. It's not unlike what artists do, you know. How do you touch somebody and how do you stimulate their imagination? Is it high touch? Is it high concept? Because that's what people will respond to. There's a website, lovemarks.com, and you can actually go on and nominate the top love mark. This is quite old, it'll be quite different now. And some of these I recognise straight away. Apple's there, Moleskine is there, Guinness and Google. But far and away, the greatest love mark in the world was Shah Rukh Khan. Does anybody know what that is? No? That's Shah Rukh Khan. Okay. Hollywood hero. There's several messages in this. Actually,
because of the probably all people in India vote for the rest of the population of India.
and so and that's one of the messages. If you want to go online, neglect the Indian market at your peril. You know, 1 in 5 human beings is Indian. Most of them speak English, and increasingly they're online. This is what happened. All the Indians went in and voted for this guy. I've only ever had one edgy who recognised him, and she was a fan. She'd been to his place in Ahmedabad. He's got a palace that makes the Versace place look tame and zen and simple. It's apparently so over the top and so outrageous that people actually line up to go for tours through this place.
I actually have seen quite a few movies with him.
Have you?
Yeah, growing up back in my country, it was very popular. Indian movies were the top. But
Really?
during the Soviet Union, there was no any Western culture allowed.
Okay.
So the real partners that were had Indian, Italy, France, with kind of, and yeah. And Indian, as a child, I would give the names of the actors all the movies. And so,
Yeah, it's massive. Hey, I don't know how big it was until I.
Enormous. So shahrukh.org if you want to see more pictures. Here's several brands or several logos, but there's brands that sit behind them. The question for you is, which is the most attractive to you? And think of both of these things. Think about the love marketing, the love and respect. There is an emotional response, then there is an intellectual one that you think about. That's a Ken Bone painting. The Australia Council of Government Arts funding body, Brisbane Writers Festival include this. I've just been using it as a logo, but that's a Banksy stencil. Tyco Group, Jeffrey Dornwall, Gold Coast-based visual effects company. What's attractive?
Writers Festival one for me.
The Writers Festival?
I would get Durham all the time.
Durham?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching him on the arias and
Mm-hmm.
listening to him on Full Day and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Quite an inspiring man.
Cool. And so there's a lot of respect
Yeah.
there, as well as the love there.
Yeah.
And that's been borne out over time. So
Yeah.
he's been proven to deliver. You know the phrase under promise, over deliver? You know? If you're selling people something for $1 or whatever, give them 4.5 things. Just give them that extra half a thing. And it doesn't cost you very much. It goes an immense distance as far as good work. Somebody over here called out?
So is it the Writers Festival?
Yeah, because?
Because it just looks alive to me. It's like a tree and it's moving with movement and all that kind of stuff that I love. so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just
Curves,
the end
lines.
of that, yeah, the curve, the flow, it's got a lot of flow to it.
Yep. You ever been to a Writers' Festival event?
No.
If you did, you'd notice that it's almost 90% women, you know? And that, what the words that you just used to qualify your decision are typically feminine sorts of words, you know? So they're on the button, right? In terms of their marketing message. If they're playing to women, then those sorts of shapes appeal to women.
It stands out for me the most as well, but also because the attention to what you said, because they're all writing that actually makes me pay attention to what's written in it.
Oh, so it's like a little bit of a puzzle.
I pay direct attention because I'm reading and different angles. It takes definitely more than 5 seconds to process.
Nice. So it does both. It grabs you in the first place in
Yeah.
terms of the shape and the colour, and then attracts you
Yeah.
to go further. Other?
I think it's
Yeah.
black rooms. Anyone else think that?
Typos? Yes. And why is that attractive to you?
Attractive, it's like clean, simple, it stands out to me the most.
Yeah. And black, white and red are the three, one of the most striking colour combinations you can put together. You know? There's something about I read
I
that
think the
somewhere.
sun kind of too, like it's like the sun.
And it's a wheel, there's a dynamic in there.
Yeah.
You know, there's some action. These are all qualities, if you will, that paying attention to all those sort of descriptions. When I ask people why, those are the sorts of things that you want people to respond to. Not only in your logo, not only in your visual collateral, but in your whole style, your whole house style, you know, right down to the chocolate on the pillow, the tiniest little detail. Remember that point I made right at the beginning? Building a business certainly from scratch, imagine that you want to franchise it. What sort of detail do you need to give somebody else, to provide somebody else if they franchise your business, you know? And that's your brand. It really does go down to that kind of detail. Okay. And that's the, this is it's here, so I'll explain. It's just a nice little tool to sort of finish with. After this, we'll go to the feedback sheets and then we'll check out. This but, I noticed this, who was I talking to? Somebody here earlier today, they were saying, I want to do such and such but, you know. Try and formulate, this has nothing to do with marketing, this is just something a random thing that happened. I want to focus better on my assignments, but I don't have enough time. So it's like that. I want to focus on my assignments, but I have no time. But out means you lose the word but and add the word and then so. I want to focus on my assignments and I don't have enough time, so this is what I'm going to do about it. It's sort of just a little verbal trick that can help you be positive and formative with your thinking rather than negative, you know. Rather than making up mistakes or making up excuses for why you can't do something, this actually allows you to admit that there's a problem, no time, that forces you to think about what you're going to do about it. So it's just a nice little